Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to talk about a coach that, in my opinion, the New York Jets need to look into. I am at my wit's end with all of the different reports about how the New York Jets are fine with who they currently have running the show on the offensive side of the football. Nathaniel Hackett, Todd Downing, Keith Carter. It doesn't really seem like it bothers the Jets organization, or at least the figureheads of the organization, that the young core players of this football team, the Garrett Wilsons, the Sauce Gardners, the Breece Halls, these guys are openly frustrated about the current state of the offense. Nobody seems to bat an eye. It doesn't seem to bother them that the Jets finished at the bottom or very close to the bottom in virtually every offensive statistic. We can talk about free agents not working out. We can talk about players regressing. You can talk about different positions all across the offense. Literally every one: quarterback, running back, offensive line, wide receiver. Not so much tight end, but if we're talking about one positional group out of the rest of the offense living up to expectations, chances are the state of the offense is not that good. The failures of calling games, the failures of adjusting mid-game, the failures in planning for games, the miscommunication, the penalties, the confusion. And the reason why I say it doesn't really seem like the Jets care all that much is because at the end of the season, no moves were made. There were no departures outside of running back coach Taylor Embry. And then weeks later, we get the report that Rex Hogan is out as assistant general manager. Him and the Jets mutually decided to part ways. But the elephant in the room is the offense is absolutely atrocious, and nothing is being done about it. Hackett is still the offensive coordinator. Keith Carter is still the offensive line coach and running game coordinator, and Todd Downing is still here. By the way, Keith Carter, Todd Downing, they did not have that much success in their roles with the Tennessee Titans, and they were fired there. So when we look at the Jets offense as a collective unit, it's very hard to get excited about it, despite Aaron Rodgers, on his way back, looking healthy, looking ready to go on his Achilles. We still have so many vacancies to fill on the offensive side of the football when it comes to personnel, not even talking about the dysfunction with the coaching staff. But my buddy Rob over on Twitter, Rob F. Brady, CR8Z for Jets, go give him a follow. He had a really, really interesting point. He said a different option that came available yesterday, and I'm not sure it moves the needle much, but Doug Marrone became available yesterday. A senior offensive advisor type title with obvious connections to Saleh back in Jacksonville and Hackett back in Syracuse. He could help with the offensive line. First of all, big ups, Rob. Excellent point here. Is Doug Marrone a top coach in football? No, he's not. But I would take Doug Marrone over what we currently have. I think Doug Marrone as an offensive coordinator is better than Nathaniel Hackett. You look at Marrone's resume. First off, no nonsense guy. Old school football mind. Ties to the offensive line. That's where he really made a name for himself, right? Former offensive line coach. In fact, he was actually the offensive line coach for the New York Jets before he took the head coaching job at Syracuse. I believe it was from 2002 to I think it was 2002 through 2005. Marrone was the head coach of the Orange for a couple years. Then he bounces over to the NFL and was the head coach of the Buffalo Bills for a couple years. He ended up walking away. And I remember at the time, I thought that it was a shoo-in, right? Doug Marrone was going to step away from the Buffalo Bills and join the Jets as head coach because he came off a really successful season with the Bills. And at that point in time, we just fired Rex Ryan. So I was thinking, New York guy, former New York Jets assistant coach. You can make the transition from a defensive guy to an offensive guy. I've always been a big fan of Doug Marrone, despite him as of late maybe not being so new school, right? There has been that complaint specifically with Jaguars fans, but in any case was the Bills head coach for a couple years, left there, went down to Jacksonville, O-line coach, worked his way up, interim head coach, then took over full-time for a couple seasons. Look, I understand that that Marrone might not check the New York Jets wish list of what it takes to be a coach, an assistant coach for the team. He hasn't coached the Titans before, and he hasn't worked with Aaron Rodgers before, so he might be out. But with that said, if the Jets are for real, if this organization is proactive in trying to figure out help on the offensive side of the football, again, there's no departures here. Hackett will still be OC. We've heard the report that Hackett could get a demotion, and quote-unquote unofficial demotion, where he might not be calling plays or whatever the case may be. At least bring someone else in. Yes, we hired 2 coaches from the Tennessee Titans, but unless the plan is for them to, take reins of the offense and really give their 2 cents unbiasedly, objectively, what went wrong, what went well, what the vision should be moving forward, then you got to continue adding pieces to the locker room, right? I think Doug Marrone, again, he provides accountability. A no BS guy. He is somebody that, in my opinion, would walk into Florham Park and tell Hackett, no, that idea sucks. We're not doing it. We're doing it this way. So I think Marrone might be better suited for an offensive advisory type of role, just like Rob suggested here, not so low on the totem pole. I think he should have a voice. He does have that working relationship with Hackett back in the day, as Rob pointed out, along with Robert Saleh in Jacksonville. So it's not like they are complete strangers here. If we're looking at the Jets offense that struggles in so many different areas, including offensive line, Marrone's specialty, why not bring him in? Why not bring him in? At least Marrone could bring some sort of structure to the current room. I'm not sitting here saying he's Shanahan or McVay or O'Connell or one of these, top-end offensive minds. But what I am saying is he's an adult. He's been a head coach before. He's turned around different programs. He has a background with in working with offensive lines, and he's a former Jets coach from New York, by the way. So I'm all in on this, right? I think at this point in time, we need all the help that we can get offensively. And if things start to go south, Marrone can take over potentially as an interim coach, although I do feel like Jeff Ulbrich is 100% suited for that, along with Boyer, the special teams coach. I think he's qualified to step in that role if need be. But in any case, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys are getting scooped up, right? All the head coaching hires are made, but those guys are filling out their staffs. For example, 2 guys that have worked with Aaron Rodgers before in the past that were fired, Luke Getsy from the Bears and AVP, former Browns OC for the last couple of seasons, they both instantly got scooped up. And look, you can make an argument, by the way, AVP, OC of the Pats, Getsy, now OC of the Raiders. You can say, well, hold on. If they're being offered OC jobs, why would they take a lower role, a lesser role, essentially working under Nathaniel Hackett? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But the problem that I have, or the question that I have, did the Jets reach out? Was there a thought that crossed their mind? Or was it just right over their head? Oh, Getsy's available. Okay, move on. AVP's worked with Rodgers before in the past. He's had play calling experience before. Could he be somebody useful to add to the room? I don't know. Let's pick up the phone and give him a call. See if he's interested. Did that happen? Did that thought enter their minds? So Doug Marrone's out there. There's still plenty of offensive openings all across the NFL. These guys are getting picked up pretty quickly. We cannot continue sitting on our hands and just doing nothing. Add somebody else to the room. I think Marrone makes sense. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.